In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how it is that we paint doors. And because this is the final step in our video series, we'll show you some before and after and basically the final reveal. Hi, my name is Remy Boudreau. I'm a licensed painter, color consultant, owner of Expressions Painting, and founder of Expressions Painting University. So as I stated before, the painting is typically done last for us simply because we're trying to get our clients back to living in normal with their furniture back in place, everything like that, as fast as possible. And with doors being essentially not in the way of much because you need to have that accessible, that's typically the last thing that we do. And so we'll typically remove the hardware first thing when we get there in the morning, and then we'll do the cutting in, anything that the little whiz rollers is not able to reach, kind of like cutting in you would do with the brush on the wall and things like that. So in this case, we're cutting around the hinges, and then on this particular door, I'm also cutting in at the bottom. The only reason is because I wanted to keep the door closed for the shooting of the video, and there's actually a little kind of like a transition strip between the hardwood floors or the laminate floors. So if I were to use the whiz roller, it would have touched, and in fact I even touched with the brush, but as you can see, I just wiped it off with the microfiber rags that we use, and it's really not a big deal. So because the whiz roller was saturated in the tray, because it had been put away overnight with with a lot of paint to make sure that it didn't dry. So I'm actually having to unload quite a bit of the paint here and go a lot further than I normally would with a single dip, just so you kind of understand the logic of what's happening here. But essentially, typically, for those of you who may not be aware, a whiz roller is not like a typical roller in the sense that a typical roller has either some microfibers or a woven nap that wraps around the cylinder, which obviously makes sense. But what's different with a whiz roller is there's also some microfiber on the side, on one side of it. So typically, that's kind of if you look when I'm first dipping into the tray, and then I'm going to start working into those little square details. I'm starting with those details with the edge of that roller to make sure that everything is nicely covered with the paint. And then I start doing the feathering out and making sure that the paint is nicely laid evenly, as you would with any kind of roller application. So because that edge of the whiz roller actually has some fibers that you want to saturate with paint, when we actually dip into the tray, typically what we do is we first put that end part of the whiz roller in the tray, and then we pull back some of the paint onto the tray and then roll out like we would in any other roller to make sure the paint's nice and even. But the important part is that you make sure that there is some paint that goes into that side portion of the whiz roller so that it actually has enough paint to kind of work into all those little details. So as you'll see, basically as I'm going, I'm just making sure to leave a nice, even, smooth finish. The whole process is not that time consuming. I mean, I'm taking a bit longer than normal here just because I'm cutting in the bottom and I'm taking my time just not to overly speed for the purpose of a video. But typically a door like this would probably take us, I would say, between 2.5 minutes to like 3 minutes, something like that. But I believe I'm closer to 4 minutes on this video. But like I said, I'm kind of slowing it down just a hair, just to make sure that it looks nice for the video, and that there's some information that you can kind of extract from watching what I'm doing and things like that. So hopefully you kind of get a sense of how far a single dip can go, and the process where we start with doing the detail and then kind of feathering out the inside of that detail, and then eventually working on the flatter faces. Now, in this kind of door, it still has a texture to it, but this same technique can be done even if we're talking about a metal door or a single flat panel door, or even some more modern detailed doors with not really like a wood texture look to it. So it's the same basic protocol that we use for basically almost every door. And with everything now done, here are some before and after pictures, including some close-ups of the cut lines, since I'm sure many are curious to see how those turned out, and also a close-up on one of the main walls that I was featuring while I was doing the video series, which had quite a bit of repair, so that you can see even at different angles, the repairs are flawless. There's no trace of any repairs having been done there. Now I want to thank you for taking this journey with me. I hope that you got a bunch of value in these videos. That was certainly my intention in offering these to you. And if you have any questions, comments, or ideas for maybe certain videos you'd like to see from me, please comment those below and I'll try my best to answer those questions and shoot those videos and provide as much value as I can. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.